The sun hung high over the small neighborhood bakery, its glass windows glowing with daylight and the smell of warm bread drifting into the street, when a fragile moment quietly waited to be seen. Inside, a thin teenage girl sat in a wheelchair near the counter, her hands folded carefully over a crumpled dollar bill and a few loose coins. Today was her birthday, and all she had in the world for a celebration was $3 and a hope she was afraid to speak out loud. Before the story goes any further, if you believe that kindness still exists and that second chances can change lives, please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel Life Spark Stories. Your support keeps stories like this alive and reaching hearts that need them. The girl's name was Maribel Torres, a 15-year-old whose life had been rewritten 2 years earlier by a sudden accident that left her unable to walk. Since then, her world had grown smaller, quieter, and heavier. Her mother worked long hours cleaning offices during the day, and birthdays had become just another day of getting by. Maribel had insisted on coming to the bakery alone, rolling herself along the sunlit sidewalks because she did not want to be a burden. She had counted and recounted the coins in her lap, knowing exactly how little they could buy, yet still daring to dream of a small cake with a single candle. The bakery was bright and alive with daytime chatter, families stopping in after morning errands, children pressing their faces to the glass display filled with colorful cakes. Maribel watched them from her seat, feeling invisible. Her eyes lingered on a modest vanilla cake decorated with soft blue frosting. It was simple, nothing extravagant, but to her it looked like a piece of happiness she could never reach. The weight of disappointment settled in her chest as she realized the truth she already knew. $3 would not be enough. At another table sat Jonah Reed, a tired-looking man in his early 30s with gentle eyes and sun-worn hands. He was a single father, raising his 6-year-old son while juggling 2 jobs. That morning, he had promised his boy a treat after school and had stopped by the bakery during his lunch break. Jonah noticed Maribel not because she asked for help, but because of the quiet way she stared at the cakes, the way her shoulders curved inward as if she were apologizing for taking up space. Jonah understood quiet struggles. His wife had passed away 3 years earlier, leaving him to navigate grief and responsibility alone. Money was always tight, and hope sometimes felt like a luxury. Yet something about Maribel's stillness, about the daylight reflecting off the coins in her lap, stirred something in him. He watched as she slowly turned her wheelchair away from the counter, her eyes blinking fast, her birthday dream slipping out of reach. Without making a scene, Jonah walked toward the counter and then toward Maribel. The bakery's cheerful noise faded into the background as he gently placed a full-sized cake on the counter beside her. It was the same vanilla cake she had been looking at, now topped with a single candle that stood tall in the bright room. The moment felt unreal, like a pause in time, as Maribel looked from the cake to Jonah, disbelief and gratitude washing over her face. Jonah paid quietly, not wanting attention or praise. For him, this was not about charity but about recognition. He saw a child who had been brave enough to show up for her own birthday, even when life had taken so much from her. Maribel's hands trembled as she touched the edge of the cake box, sunlight catching the moisture in her eyes. For the first time in a long while, she felt seen. The bakery seemed warmer as Maribel rolled out into the daylight, the cake balanced carefully on her lap. She did not feel poor or broken in that moment. She felt worthy. Jonah watched her go, carrying the simple joy he had helped restore, and returned to his own life feeling lighter than he had in years. His son would get a smaller treat that day, but Jonah knew the lesson of kindness would be far sweeter. That afternoon, Maribel shared the cake with her mother at their small kitchen table, sunlight pouring through the window as they laughed and cried together. It was not just a cake. It was proof that even in the hardest chapters, strangers can become miracles, and ordinary days can turn extraordinary. If this story touched your heart even a little, please take a moment right now to support Life Spark Stories by liking, sharing, and subscribing, so more stories of hope can reach the world. And before this story ends, Please comment below and tell us where you are watching from or share a moment when kindness changed your life.